Bonjour, buenos dias, good morning everyone. We are here in Buno. My name is Ángel Cassado. I'm a member of the Sail Grand Prix team. With me is Brian Spreckley. Brian, good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Buenos tardes.
Okay, so we are going to be broadcasting the race today, but before we are going to be putting some highlights from yesterday.
The weather was a little overcast, but it improved later. And at the end of the day, it was a good day for soaring. The start was good, but some other pilots pushed to the left under a good energy line, and it was much better. And after arriving at the first point, the weather was much better. With the downwind, the finish was good. And we were three glider, and we catch a good last airman. Unfortunately for Didier, Didier was maybe 10 meters below, but he can't catch it. And Frédéric Oyo did something different, more to the south, and I saw him arriving from the south at the turn point at the south of the airfield, and he was maybe 200 meters ahead or above me. But he's flying a Discus too, and so I was well on the glide path. I could take some speed, flaps down, and with the Discus it was easy to pass him.
Okay, I hope that you guys enjoyed the highlights. So we are going to first to comment a little bit about the task today, and we have with us the contest director, Benjamin. Benjamin, could you explain the task and the weather for today?
Okay, I'm just coming back from the launch area, and today we had some problems with weather. We call that a window. It's a small window we can use because the big front is coming from the south, and there is a bigger space of Paris in the north area. So we are a bit squeezed between these two things. So it's a small race, and but the weather is good. They are quite high, as you can see on the current screen with the altitude. And my question is just, perhaps it will be a fast and furious day because we will go really fast to make it, or perhaps it will just be a difficult day. But we'll see that in a few minutes.
Well, let's just talk a little bit, Benjamin, about what happened yesterday and what's happening. Angel, maybe you can show us just zoom in a little bit for us on the picture there while they're waiting to start. Outside, what we can see is a lot of cirrus and high cloud coming up from the south, and there is a risk that this high cloud will come over the race area and dampen it down and make it more difficult.
Yeah, we don't like, as glider pilots, we don't like to have what we call high clouds, so cirrus, altocumulus and everything, because there is no more energy in the air when they are coming. So that's why I don't send all of the competitors so far on the south. And as you can see now on the screen, it's much more focusing. And they just have a first leg towards south area. So we don't have a big leg. The first start was just on the left of all the sailplanes, you can see now, and they are going first a bit south. So it's called Malzerbe, as you can see on the bottom left of the screen. And then second leg is toward east. You will see.
How far is it to the east now, Benj? How far they got to go to the east?
So first leg is super tiny. It's just 10 kilometers. And then on the east, they have to make 35 kilometers east of the big forest of Fontainebleau. So it's bottom right of the screen. It's called Voulx. And then the third turn point is on the airfield of Buno. So where you can see now the current position of the sailplanes. And then we have, we do a tiny task just around the airfield with some turn points and control points. So we have to go north to report me, and then a bit east of the airfield and back for the finish line. So it's just 110 kilometers. It's quite tiny for Grand Prix, but the problem is weather, definitely.
Well, it's quite exciting, really, because they've got a long leg out to the east. And that will be a good opportunity for the top pilots to try and get out ahead. But when they come back to Bruno, they have this tiny triangle to do, which looks very exciting. So how high will they need to be when they pass over the third turning point to make it around the last triangle for the final glide?
Okay, the last three legs, so from Buno to report me, and then to Vaudreuil report, and then to the finish line, it's just a bit short of 20 kilometers. So in terms of power, energy, so altitude for sailplane, it's just a bit below 700 meters above the ground, and normally they have enough energy to make it quite fast. So as you can see on the right part of the screen for today, they are flying at 1,300 and something, so it's really a good day, I think.
And we've got small cumulus, which marks the thermals, marks the lift, which means it could be quite a fast race. We could be looking at only an hour's race here, or an hour and 5 minutes, maybe something like this.
I think perhaps a bit less, and just the first turn point was a bit question for me. That's why I don't send them a lot towards the south, because the front is coming really fast. But anyway, I think it will be good. And our master for the time machine will go a bit forward now. As you can see on the top of the screen, there is the countdown, and we are a bit short of the start opening gate. It's just 27 seconds on the top of the screen. So
they're all circling now, getting ready to start, and we can see everybody is above the maximum start height, which is 3,000 feet, or that's nearly 1,000 meters.
3,000 feet and 300, yes. So
okay, it's 1,000 meters.
Exactly, it's a rounded 1,000 meters above mean sea level, so a bit short of 900 meters above the ground here in Buno. We will focus on to see the start gate a bit better. It's just, okay, the start gate is open now. Where is the...
And Echo Lima is running in first, and he's got a good start. Echo Lima is a visiting pilot, I think.
Echo Lima is from Brittany. It's Mr. Jacques Palliot. And okay, we will have a nice view of the start now. Yeah, you can see that they are crossing the start gate quite all together. Yes, they are all together. And just Juliet Golf is a bit on the top of the screen.
We can see from the altitudes on the right, everybody seems to have made a start just about the maximum start height.
Yeah.
Of course, they have a speed limit as
also.
well.
Yeah.
So they have to be a little bit careful about that. And with such a short leg to the first turning point, we don't expect them to stop and climb. They should be straight around that turning point and then looking for some energy to continue on the second leg.
Yeah, and especially because you have to imagine that the bad front weather is on the south, so it has made a lot of high clouds on the first point. So there is shadows on the ground, so less energy that they can expect on the eastern part of the task. So yeah, you're right. I think they will just glide through this first point and go east as soon as possible.
Or maybe even come back to the north a little. It depends how close, how much it's encroached, the shadow, and how much it reduces the energy.
As we talk about for several days now, the glider pilots, they are really energy searcher, in the air. So they are looking for energy every second. And energy for us is sun. We need sun. We need some contrast on the ground, and we need some area with the sun which are making these bubbles, the thermals we are using to climb and get more energy in our tank altitude. So we are with Ecolima, Jack Palliot from Brittany, French guy, very nice instructor from Prix, a small gliding club in Brittany, and he's the leader.
It's quite interesting because yesterday you had a very good race.
Yeah,
and most people, we had enough finishes to make a full scoring day.
Yeah, 10 points. Yeah,
and we see that Christophe was at the top of the tree yesterday, but he was only 19 seconds ahead of Fred Hoyot. So there's obviously going to be quite a fierce battle there between those two.
Yeah, definitely. We have some top pilots here. I'm really pleased to have these guys because Christophe Abadi made third in the last final in South Africa. And he's really used to make Grand Prix. So we know that he can do something. And Fred Hoyot is used also to make his podium in French Grand Prix last year in Rennes. He was on the podium also. And we have on the screen you can see also DID. So it's DJ House. He was world champion in Grand Prix 4 years ago in Sisteron. So yeah, we are on first 10 points. And I can say I'm really pleased to have all these champions and their friends also. It's a big family, and yeah, I'm very happy to have him.
Yeah, Didier is more of a mountain pilot. He tends to fly more in the mountains, so it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to this lower level racing.
Yeah.
And Fred, he's not the mountain man. He's a flatland man, I think.
Yeah, much more flat.
So he's going to be more comfortable. And Fred said to me that he only was second yesterday because he doesn't have flaps.
Yeah. We have some question about the fact that perhaps Fred Hoyot had less water. You have to know that we put some water in the wings of the sailplanes, and they are much more efficient this way. And perhaps also that Mr. Abadi yesterday had more water in the wings, so it was easier for him to catch up Hoyot and to win yesterday. So just after the first turn point, it's interesting because we can see that they are turning and turning, circling, what we call circling. So they are getting energy altitude, and on the left part of the screen you have the altitude of everybody. So Fred Hoyot is the highest at a bit short of 1,100 meters, and then it's Kai Lindenberg 1,000, and Tony Kittler from Germany, and then Aude Grangeret. We will focus every day, I think, Aude Grangeret, because she's the current world champion in the Women's Championship, and she's doing pretty well for her first Grand Prix.
So is this Aude's first Grand Prix?
Yeah, it's the first.
And do you think she'll adapt to the the nature of the sport, which is everybody has to try to get in, that you have to try to get in front to win this?
I know Aude pretty well now, because I was the coach for Aude for 3 World Championship, juniors and then women, and she's super competitive, and so she likes to be on the top of the goggles and to win. So yeah, I think she enjoys to be here, and it's really fun.
And this is really interesting part now, because they're all climbing. They're climbing to get the altitude. And Didier's gone.
Yeah.
And the question is, will they chase after him? And we can see that Didier probably left a little earlier. And the tactic of this, the strategy, will be to try to work your way to the top of the group of gliders, the top of the race, so that when you're in the last 40 kilometers or 30 kilometers, you've got the edge. You've got a little bit ahead of the others.
Yeah, I think there are 2 choices for today. It's okay, I keep my position with goggles, and I have to be on the top of the goggles, So I will be the first to make the last glide, or I have to avoid the gaggle. And we can see on the bottom of the screen, we have a better view in a few seconds. Okay, you can see that DID, we can't see him really well, but you can imagine just on the bottom and going much more to the bottom of the screen. So it's DJ House, and it took a decision. Okay, I go to the lead now, and I don't want to stay in the gaggle.
But with a short race like this, if you get 100 meters above and ahead, it's going to be really difficult to catch. There won't be many opportunities to catch. So once somebody pulls away, providing they don't make a mistake, the trailing sailplanes, the trailing pilots will have a real problem catching up there. And this is only going to take maybe 3 or 4 thermals, 3 or 4 opportunities to climb. And a very, very small difference in the average on that rate of climb will make a very big difference to the speed.
Yeah,
So-
it's pretty much like a sprint.
Yeah.
And you can imagine like in the Tour de France. So there is a peloton and there is an échappé, so a leading group. And you want to be as soon as possible in the leading group because it's a small race. It's not a 7 hours of cycling. It's just a short 1 hour of sprint. So yes, you have to keep your position and you have to stay with the leading group all day long. So just 1 hour. And to be the highest of this leading group in few minutes. So yeah, it will be perhaps a fast and furious day.
And of course, the real risk with this is that you break away. You're one of the breakaway group. You try to get ahead, and then you don't find a good climb. You don't find good energy, and the group, the peloton, sit back, and between them they work together. And working together, they find that little bit better energy, that little bit better line, and they come cruising overhead.
Okay, so now we will use the time machine to go forward, and we will know pretty much what was going on in the following minutes. So let's go for the time machine.
Just a few minutes ahead.
We are with Angel, who is managing the time, and we will be close to live. Okay, so we are really, really, really close to live race now. And as it's really interesting because we were discussing about the fact that on the south part of the race, we have some high clouds coming. And we can see that all the pilots, they are going north of the track. So they are avoiding all this shadow made by the front, and they are looking for more power, more energy. So
You don't think they prefer to fly over the forest? They think there might be better energy and a better line over the forest?
Yes, in the forest of Fontainebleau, because there is a big forest of Fontainebleau. For all the people who knows Fontainebleau, you know that we are also doing some climbing sport. On the rocks inside the forest, and it's rocks from granite. Granite, you say?
Granite.
Granite. Okay, yeah. So granite. So and this granite makes also some sandy area. And we like a lot sandy area for sailplane because sand means when you are on the beach and you have some sun, you can see that the sun is really, really hot. So it makes some good bubbles of warm air and thermals. So yes, perhaps the best condition with the best cumulus made by the bubbles are there on the forest. You're right.
And looking at the positions now, Philippe Depeche is broken away.
Yep.
He's decided he's going to go up ahead. And he's not a bad altitude. He's 800 meters, but he'll start to feel uncomfortable when he gets down below about 700 meters. So he needs to find some energy soon. And a little bit to the north, we've got Christophe Abede. Now, there's quite a lot in it for these guys because the winner and second place in this competition go to Chile. They go to the final. And we know that from the pilots racing today, certainly Didier and Christophe really, really want to go to the final. And there's Fred will try to take that place as well. So at least 3 of these pilots are really, really focused on trying to get their place in the final, which makes it very exciting because on a race like this, it could make a very big difference to the final outcome. And getting it right at this point, before that turning point, is a critical part of the fight.
Yeah, we have, yes, we have, on the bottom of the screen, you have a lot of information. So let's focus on Christophe. You can see first is altitude, 1,100 and something. So it's quite good. Ground speed is 126, but I think he's circling, he's thermaling, so he's gaining some altitude now. Vario is positive, so 1.0 meters now. So he's climbing effectively, so he's getting some energy in the tank. And he has flown 30.2 kilometers. So there is a count of the kilometers already made. And then it's distance left. We will focus a lot on this distance for now, because distance left means also how much energy you need to come back. So for 80 kilometers, we can imagine that Christophe needs 2,500 meters of energy, total energy he will consume to make this distance. And average speed is just the average speed of total task for now. So we are not flying really fast, but as it's a small task, this average speed will be very various at every minute.
Well, we can see that the sky is becoming a little bit more covered with the cirrus, which means that the energy will be reducing, the climbers will be getting weaker. They will be focusing quite a lot on staying at a good altitude. Yep. Because as it gets weaker, so it gets more difficult if you get lower down. And the lower you get, the less options you have.
Exactly.
And the less options, the less chance of finding another really good thermal to get back up again.
The sailplane pilots, they know that during a race, when you have some high clouds coming, at one time, you just have to think, okay, no, it's a good time to be really high. No, I have to climb now. I have to I have to lose some time, in fact, and stay where I am and climb and be really high, because if I go low, it will be really, really difficult, and I will lose more time, much more, if I'm low. So we have two different things. Yeah, Philippe de Péchy is, okay, I go, I do my best, and I take my chance, and so I go to the lead. But for the other, I think they're just thinking, okay, we need to be higher. So we take a bit of time here on the big forest.
So Didier's climbed back up, and he's a similar height now to Christophe. I think that the focus on this race will be between the three of them. But yesterday we had in third place from Belgium, we had Dan Spreckley, I think his name. Who's Dan and what's he like? Is he a good guy? I mean, we don't really have any record of him flying in Grand Prix.
Dan it's the first Grand Prix for Dan, but in fact, when you go to the ranking on SGP.aero, you can see the profile of the pilot. He has made several nationals in Belgium, and also he's flying in north part of France, Lille. And when he entered the competition, I went to a profile, and it was interesting because I seen that he was also involved in selection as team members for the European in Lasham this in UK this summer. So he's a good pilot. He's just not well known because he hasn't made any Grand Prix.
So we think he's hot.
Yeah, he definitely.
We think he's hot. He's going to give them a really good run for their money. He's going to push them a little.
And the point is also that he's from Belgium, and for all the sailplane pilots community, Belgium means quite windy, flying low, trees, difficult thermals, so tricky conditions. And we are in a typical tricky condition today. So we have to focus on that for the overall ranking. Perhaps he will be in the podium at the end. Yeah.
But he is flying an ASW27.
It's not the best sailplane for tricky conditions. Yes,
he's flying last year's model.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, for yesterday also was the fact that Kai Lindenberg from Germany. Kai is well known in Grand Prix, and he's a good pilot, very good. And yesterday he texted me because he was outlanded in the field. He just texted me, I'm really sorry, but sometimes it happens. I'm outlanded. So he was supposed to be in the top of the ranking, but for now he has 0 points. So yes, it will be, and he wants to be in the Chile for
it's fine. So Kai really would like to qualify.
Really competitive.
But of course, with the scoring system, with the place scoring system with the Grand Prix, you can get 0 one day, and you can be back up near the top the next day if you can win the day or do well. Yeah. It's a really brutal system.
Yeah.
And it's not normally a big issue if you have one bad day.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in Formula 1. Okay, you have a problem with the tire, the engine just made a failure, okay, you will lose 10 points. You will not lose huge points. So you still can be the champion at the end of a championship. So nothing is made. Christopher Abadi is the leader for now with 10 points, but the second one is 8 points. So yeah, it's tight for now.
It is tight, and it'll stay tight, because looking at this, these guys are actually having a problem. They're having a problem because they're going further and further north.
Mm-hmm.
They've crossed the river valley, but it looks like it's really difficult to go down to the turning point.
Yeah.
And this could spoil the day. This could make it very difficult. But the down here, Alan Mazallarat, he's a wily old fox. Yeah? Alan's a really good pilot. He's not a young guy, but he's been flying competitions for 30 years maybe. Yeah?
Centuries.
Yeah, and the great thing about gliding, the wonderful thing about gliding, is it's an intelligent, thinking person's sport.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to be super fit. You don't have to be really young. You don't need to be very aggressive, but you really need to think it. So if you want to play a game where the strategy that you can formulate using your talent and your skill is the most important thing, then this sailplane racing is for you. And this guy, Alain, I have the utmost respect for him. He's also held lots of French records.
Oh yeah.
And I think a couple of world records.
Yeah. Alain Mazallarat is, I have to say, is a really kind person. I was pushing him to do his Grand Prix because he's a local pilot from Buno, and he didn't want to make a Grand Prix. I said, yeah, okay, Alain, you have to do it. And he's much more a pilot who wants to make long flights. So he's the owner of several records, 1,000 kilometers in just 9 hours. So you can think about the average speed is 120 kilometers per hour. It's really fast. So he's really fast.
And we can see that Alan's chosen to go on track.
On the track, yeah.
This is a really useful strategy, because the more that you can stick to the track line in the race, the less distance you have to fly, so the less energy you need. But of course, it's more important to take the route with the best energy, but that's a gamble. Alan's a local pilot. Mm-hmm. He knows the area well. He'll feel comfortable, but he's not very high. He's coming down to 500 meters. This is really not very high. And he will need to climb very soon. If he doesn't climb soon, he's going to have to either find a nice field, or he's going to have to use his little engine to bring him home.
He has no engine.
Oh, well, in that case, he'll have to find a field.
Yeah. Alain Mazallarat had never had any engine, and he told me, okay, this is sailplane, a pure sailplane is a sailplane, so I don't want any engine.
Yeah, he flies in the same spirit that I fly.
Yeah, exactly. And as you can see that also on the right part of the information of the screen, you have the altitude of Philippe de Péchy. It's just at the bottom of the list, and it's just 300 meters, so it's really low. And I think he will go to use his engine. He has an engine, Philippe.
But they're together now. There's quite a group of them together.
Yep.
And maybe we can have a look and see if they're climbing.
Yep.
And see if that group's found anything to get back up again.
For them.
It's a race against time, trying to get around this race before the upper cloud that's approaching us from the south cuts it off completely. And this is another exciting part of set flying. You're flying not only against your competitors and yourself, but also against the weather.
Yeah.
The weather has such a strong influence. We use the energy in the sky, and it's the energy that makes the weather. And so quite often when we're flying, we have to consider how that's going to affect us. And it's got to be built into the plan, into the strategy.
Yeah, it's a fact that we like to play with the weather and the nature, and what can offer the nature as energy in the air. So it's really interesting. And we focus on this part of the race, and you can see that there are several goggles. What we call goggles is group of pilots, and they're all together. And we focus on there is Lima Yankee, so Mr. Lindenberg on the bottom group, and Mr. Kittler, so two German pilots. So Kaya is a really experienced pilot, and Tony is just short of 22 years old, I think. So it's a newcomer in the Grand Prix system, and a really nice guy, speaking French fluently. It's impressive. And they are just.
Well, I thought they were going to climb there.
Yeah.
It looked like they'd started to climb, but Kai's broken away. He's down to 580 meters. This is only 1,600 feet.
Yeah.
So how high is the ground here?
Just 130
Okay.
meters.
So it's not so bad. So they're 400 feet. Well, that's not so good either.
Not so good. And as you can see on the right part of the screen, you have information about what we call rate of climb. So it's in meter per second. When it's positive for everybody. You gain altitude, so you gain energy. But when it's negative, it's not good. But let's focus also on the numbers. So it's a 1.2. You can see on the top 1.1. It's really weak. And yes, Alamazalora. Yeah.
He's climbing.
He's climbing.
Yeah, let's see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at what Alan's up to, because if he's climbing in the position he's in, he's going to really do well, because he's coming back after that. We have to find him. He's down to the... Oh, he's gone way to the south now. But that's interesting. He's gone right underneath where the cirrus area is. But it shows here that he's... Well, we lost him for the moment, but he'll come back. And we can see now he's got 1.3 vario. So if he really is climbing, we can watch his altitude tick up. If he can come up to 1,000 meters there, he's round that turning point and on the way back. And that would put him in a good position. Lima Yankee, if he climbs here, he'll be in a good position. And maybe he can see Alan. Maybe he can see where Alan's climbing, and he's heading for it.
So Alamazalora, Zulu Alpha, on the bottom of the screen is 600 meters climbing, so I'm gaining energy. It's not a big climb, but it's climbing, so it's good. And it is really close to the turn point, Volks. And we have Lima Yankee, Kai Lindenberg, who is climbing also. Weak climb, but it's climbing, so gaining altitude. And it's really close also to the turning points. And then there is a gaggle, and on the top of the gaggle, it's interesting. On the right part of the screen, you have the altitude, and the top altitude is Christophe Abadi. So Christophe really wants to manage the gaggle and to be on the top of the gaggle to have some points at the end of the day if they can do the day.
Well, we can be very encouraged by the fact that most people now seem to be climbing again. They seem to have gone through a really difficult part, and they seem to come back into quite good energy. So how's it developing between Fred and Didier and Christophe? Are they still together? Didier is he's back with Fred, Delta Alpha, they're both together. And I think Christophe will be there close to them as well.
Yeah, so Didier is on the left part of the screen, DID. This gaggle is just 800 meters now, climbing. And Frederico Yo is on the right part of the screen with another gaggle. And we can see 2 Lima, 2L, just leaving the right part of the screen. So it's Christophe Abadi. It's the highest one. Perhaps he can't climb anymore. So he's heading now to the turn point. So they are all together. It's just 3 kilometers between the two groups. So for now, there is no winner.
But the great thing about a race like this is these normally, with the typical racing conditions, we'd expect to be doing 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
And a short flight like this, the pilots will all sit thinking before the start, oh, it's so short, it's only going to take a few minutes. But in these conditions, it's going to take quite a long time.
Yeah, finally,
We're going to see speeds round about 70 kilometers an hour, maybe 80 if we're lucky.
Perhaps less.
Maybe even less, But it's not so windy, so that shouldn't affect it.
This is a good point, and the wind is a bit southeast, so it will be easier for them to come back to Buno Airfield in a few minutes when they are made the turn points on the east.
And Alan's climbed up to 700 meters, not very high, but enough to keep going, enough to get around the turning point maybe. The big valley we can see, they've crossed over the river valley. Which river is that, Benj?
Which is a good question.
The Essonne?
No. Essonne is just west of the field of Buno. Yes, it's...
Do you think it makes much difference?
We know that here, yesterday it was the case when the river was coming to the Essonne Valley, so on the left of the screen, close to Buno Airfield. Then just passing the Essonne Valley, it was worse, so we had to wait for better condition. And yes, we know that all the valleys were making something, and also big forests were inducing some things in the air mass. So yeah.
And I think the ground in the middle of the race area is a little bit higher and drier, so we should get a little bit better convection. Although coming back across the river valley, the extra moisture in the river valley might give slightly better cumulus in that area.
And the point is also, as we said a few minutes before, there are some sandy area and there are also some big carriers. close to the forest. And so these points made a hot point on the ground. So much better climbs and energy for the pilots. Oh yeah, we are coming to the second turn point with Mr. Abadi.
Yeah, he's coming in, but he's got a good altitude. He's going to take that turning point okay.
Yep.
700 meters puts him well back with the others. He should be able to make it back now into the thermal the other guys are climbing in.
So we have Christophe, and we can see the gaggle, the group, the following group, the chaser. I don't know how to
chasers.
Yep, chasers. So he's the leader for now,
in
Christophe.
these sort of weak conditions, he gets broken up quite quickly.
Yeah.
Because it only takes 2 or 3 turns in slightly better energy to get a gap, and then you move on, and the other guys can't. Suddenly there's 1 or 2 kilometers between you. But it's not over by a long way, because if Christophe gets a little bit stuck on the way back, they'll be straight with him. They'll be catching him up really quickly.
So he made a turn, 700 meters altitude. It's quite good for today because there are some problems to climb above 900 meters. And the chasing group is heading also to a turning point. On the left of the screen, I don't know if you can see, but we have I believe Lima Yankee, but we missed some data from now. So he must be, Kai Lindenberg must be really close to a turn point also. And I believe that Mr. Zulu Alpha, you will see him. So Alain Mazarua, another local pilot from here, is really close to a turn point.
He's come a long way to the south.
Yeah, perhaps a bit too much. He was really on the track at first, but then he went to the south and perhaps
it's not
efficient.
If he's found a line of energy, if he's found what we might call a cloud street or a line of energy, and he could just be, he's very cunning, he's very wise, Alan, and we can see he's 700 meters, which is not bad for the comparison with everybody else. So if he's now coming along that line and following it, he'll then take a left turn and go into the turning point, and then he'll set off on the next leg. But it looks like Guillaume is going to, Charlie Foxtrot, Mike, Guillaume, Gerard, he will turn next, along with the little group of people he's with Tony and the other guys there.
Guillaume is leading the chasing group, what we call the chasing group, and they are crossing the path of Tulima, Christophe Abadi now, who is heading now for the third turn point. Yeah, they are quite at the same altitude, so Abadi now has clearly the lead for now. But we will see in a few minutes what's going on. It's interesting because Zulu Alpha is keeping going, but it's not going to a turn point. I don't know why for now.
I believe that Charlie Tango has gave up, was very, very, very low, and perhaps what he has done is switch on the engine and going back to the field.
Yeah, I think you're right, because he was really close to a gliding airfield, Marais or Loin. The river is the Loin. I know it's difficult to say in English, but yeah, it's Marais or Loin. And the river we all know from here on Buno. Whoever flew in Buno knows that the Loin is not really good. Right. So you have to be really careful.
The valley, the problem with the river valley is it absorbs the energy.
Exactly, yeah.
The heavy soil, the clay, and the moisture ground absorbs the energy, and you don't get the energy transferred back to the air that you get on the high ground and the rocky ground to create much better thermals and much more energy in the air.
And as it is a plain area, the rivers are really large and they are snaking, making some big turns. So it's a really thick area with a lot of moisture. So it's difficult when you need to find some energy. Sometimes you will lose some time.
So Lucas is a new pilot to me. Tell me a little bit about Lucas. Is he a local guy?
Lucas. Mr. Lucas. I think he's in the
Fox
gaggle
here.
there, yeah.
No, that's Dan. Dan is with the gaggle there.
It's Fox Bravo. Where is Fox Bravo?
He was just pushing on ahead.
Okay. Bravo Whiskey Free is the German young guy. Charlie Fox Mike. Oh, yeah. He's with Didier.
Yeah, so he and Didier going well together.
So I will have another view on Didier, and yes, there are. Okay, this is really interesting because I'm also the coach of part of a French team, and Fox Bravo. So on the bottom of the screen, Lucas Delobel and DID Didier House. you can see the details about the 2 pilots on the bottom of the screen. They are all together, and they are indeed also two pilots inside the French team, the current French team. So Lucas Delobel will be in the next European Championship in Czech Republic in a few days, and Didier Haus will be in UK.
So he's not a beginner, Lucas.
He's not what?
He's not a beginner.
And,
He's quite experienced.
Yeah. He's young. He's 23, I believe. Engineer.
He flies in Mont Blanc normally.
Yeah. He flies close to Mont Blanc.
So how do you think he's coping with this flying around, scraping on the ground like this?
He used to have some problems to fly in plane area 3 or 4 years ago when he began to make a competition in plane area. But as he's a good pilot with good potential, we integrated him and we selected him on what we call the young group for the future French team. So we made a lot of training, and especially in plane area, and now he's enjoying it a lot. Yesterday I had a talk with him, and he told me that he enjoyed a lot. It's the first Grand Prix he make, and he enjoyed very well.
And he'll be happy flying with Didier.
Oh yeah.
He'll be happy because he's going well. He knows he's going well because he knows that the other guys are well behind, and he's with good company.
Yep.
Flying with Didier means they can work together, they can help each other, because when you fly close to the thermal, it's very difficult to find the strong part of the thermal quickly. And if there are 2 pilots together and just a little bit, just separated a little bit, you can see where the energy is. One of you gets it, the other one can move in quickly and join you.
Yeah, they are not allowed to speak to each other through the radio, but Didier and Lucas, they are they know each other, so they know even without speaking, they know how to work together as a team and to find the best thermal. It's really interesting because as some of the pilots are going to the turn points on the right of the screen, and other pilots are now going to the left of the screen to the next turn point. These who are going towards the left of the screen, they are helped by the other pilots who are a bit on the
behind. They've fallen.
They're
falling behind, and they're marking where the energy is.
Exactly, marking.
So when you when you've made the turning point and you then take the second leg of the race, you can see the guys ahead.
Yes.
It's a little bit like match racing in sailing. You can see what the other boat's doing, and you can use what he's doing and see how much wind he's got to decide which side of the course you want to be. And they haven't gone to the others though. They haven't gone to join the others. They've gone further south. And what we can't see is maybe there's just a little bit of cumulus there. And they said, okay, we're going to do a south route here. We're going to come back the other way because we think that's going to be more a quicker route, a more efficient route.
And inside the canopy, you can imagine that also when you are gliding like this, you can spot 2 groups, and you can just watch the sailplanes in the 2 groups, and you can choose the group who is climbing the fastest. So you can see this. So I think they just manage this.
So Alan's climbed up to a vast altitude of 900 meters, but we don't know where he is. He hasn't taken. Oh, maybe he's coming out of the turning point.
It's still southeast.
He seems to have gone for a little promenade here.
Yeah, it's typical from walkabout. Yeah, I think it's typical from Alain when he thinks that he will not make any points for today. He was just at the end enjoying the day, okay, and doing his best, but not making the points.
But it looks like we can discount him from the race now. It looks like he's not going to be amongst the scorers. He won't be in the points today. So we may be going to focus now on this group at the front with Christophe, who's pulled away quite well. And he's really going quite well. And then we've got Tony and Lucas and Didier behind on the chasing group here. And the chasing group's how many? We've got 3 or 4 in it. It's difficult to see.
I will focus a bit more. So we still have the former turn points on the right of the screen, but they want to head on the west, so on the left part of the screen. And Tulima is alone for now. He is 680 meters and climbing, but not so fast. And then there is 2 chasing group with Bravo Whiskey 3 and Fox Bravo. So Mr. Kittler and Mr. Lucas Delobel. And Didier Haus is not far away. A bit on the top of Fox Bravo and Bravo Whiskey 3. Delta Alpha, just...
So Bravo Whiskey 3 actually is still going to the turning point.
Yes, he has
hasn't
to.
turned
Yeah.
yet. It looked like he was with them, but he's not with them at all. He's way behind.
But he marked the thermals on the bubble for viewers, so he's helping them.
Christoph's really decided that he's going to have to go, he's going to have to win this race, and he's really pushing on ahead now. And he only needs one more climb, doesn't he? If we look at the distance he's got to go and where he is in the course, he's pulling away really well.
You will have information of, distance to go is 52 kilometers. So in terms of energy, so altitude in the tank of the sailplane, I think it's a bit more than 1,500 meters total altitude. So now he's looking for 1,000 meters of energy to gain, to find, and then it will be okay to make the final glide. What we call a final glide is just okay. We don't need any more energy to find. Just okay, I push and I go back to the finish line.
And the wind is going to be helping them, correct?
Yes, a bit. For today, it's really weak wind. It's just a shy 5 knots southeast wind. So it's much better to have wind from the back than against you. So yeah, it will help.
It's like going downhill, even steeper.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when you're going into the wind, it's like going uphill all the time. You have to pedal harder.
Exactly.
And we all know what happens when you pedal harder. You get tired.
Really fast. Yeah.
But they've got just 2 more climbs, I think. 2 more climbs to bring them back into the airfield area, and then they've got the little triangle to do.
Yep.
And they could be quite low when they come past here to join the small triangle. It could be that they can't just fly around it. They've got to take some lift on the way around.
Yeah, this is the fun part at the end of the task, where I have asked them to make a really small task just around the airfield. But on this morning I was asking myself, perhaps if I ask them to do that, perhaps we will not be able to do it because there is thick clouds in the altitude and no more energy. But Christophe is looking for a bit more energy now. He's climbing.
But the good thing is that when they come back towards the airfield, even if it's slow climb, they'll be able to take it up slowly.
Yeah, because
they know that you've got to finish the race to get some points.
Yep.
So there's no point in pushing if it's getting really, really difficult.
And it's really close to the airfield, so they are in a really safe position, what we call local area of the airfield. So it's just 6-7 kilometers of straight flight on each point of a small task at the end. So yeah, it's climbing.
So they're only doing 63 kilometers an hour. This is really slow.
This is super slow.
Speed,
in terms of modern sailplanes equipment, 63 kilometers per hour is really, really slow. So it's a difficult day, tricky day. On the right part of the screen, you can see what we call goal arrival height. Height.
Yes.
Thank you. And Lucas de la Belle is just 1,000 meters. This is the energy he needs to go to a final line. So he still needs to finish.
To get home, he needs 1,000 meters more than he has now.
Exactly.
So he needs to gain 1,000 meters of energy somewhere. It's very useful because they will know this. In the cockpit, each of these guys will have an instrument which is telling them
the same thing,
all sorts of information. And one of the little bits of information they're getting is how much altitude they need to get to come home.
Yeah, as we said before and the day before, so the tank of a sailplane is really altitude. The energy is altitude, so they are looking for energy to gain altitude. And then when they have enough energy, they can go to a finish line.
So if we go back onto altitude now, we just see Didier's fallen back a little bit there, and he's back there with a group of others, and he's going to have to find something really quite good to catch up now. I think Zulu 6 has abandoned the race.
Yeah, I think Zulu 6 and Ecolima, what we have on the left part of the screen, it is not leading group. They have cancelled. They have not made the second turn on the right of the screen.
They've decided it's a bit too difficult for them. The conditions are just a little bit too tough.
And they are not on. They think they can't make any points, so they think, okay, make it safe. We go back, but perhaps they will help the others to find some thermals.
Certainly, with the scoring system in Sailplane Grand Prix racing, only the pilots who come home can score, and
Yep.
only the first 10 will score. So if you fall behind on a day like this, and you don't think there's any chance of catching up, there's not much point in risking your glider with an outlanding if you are not going to get any points.
Yeah, we are focusing now on Fox Bravo and Tango India Fox. So it's Aude Grangeret, a French team, current world champion, and Lucas Delabelle, another French team member. So I'm really proud to have them on the leading. And DID, so Didier House is there also, and Alain Mazalora. I don't know if he made the turn points, but he's also going back. He made it? Yeah, okay, so Angel is telling me that Zulu Alpha is back and he's really high, so they are all together. But I will focus a bit, I will zoom out, and on the left part of the screen, in fact, if you look closer, we will do that. Sorry. Who is in this group? We have Tulima.
And Tulima
It's Christophe Abadi.
is way out in front. And look at the Echo Lima and Zulu 6 have abandoned the task, but they're
I think
over
so.
1,000 meters.
Yeah.
It shows that they can get the altitude again. They're
Yeah.
coming back into an area where it's a little bit better, which gives us more hope, more confidence that they'll be able to finish the flight, that they'll be able to finish the race. And it'll be a genuine race because it'll be the guy who goes fastest who wins. And I think that Christophe so far has flown a really good race.
Yeah.
He's not been slow to leave the thermals. And the psychology of the race is really important because when you get a group of pilots together, nobody wants to break away. Nobody wants to leave. And the result of this will be that small groups will stay longer and longer and longer when the rate at which they can gain energy is reducing, but they won't want to go. Christophe's left early, and
Yeah.
he's left before that point in the climb.
The decision is always a balance in the brain of a pilot. It's just okay. If I keep thermaling with everybody, perhaps the thermal is a bit weak on the top of the thermals, but I will manage the race and I will be with other glider pilots, and they will help me to find the next thermal. And for other part of the brain, you have okay, but if the thermal is weakening and weakening, I'm losing time, and so perhaps somebody else will not lose this time. So I have to push and go and find the next thermals. So it's always a balance between these two things. And when the weather is a bit tricky, like today, a lot of glider pilots and they want to be in the conservative option, so keeping the pace with all together and being at the top of a group all together. And if I am at the top of a group, I will get some points because I will be the first to finish on the group.
And there's a lot of inertia in this, that people stay together because they know that if they finish together, they will get similar points. But with Grand Prix racing, you only have to be in front of the guy even by 1 second.
Yes.
And you get more points.
You get more points.
And so that mentality, that way of flying becomes much less relevant here. And Christophe has understood this. Christophe has understood that actually you can take risks in this, in soaring risks. You can push on and you can go ahead. With an operating level like this, when they're operating so low, there is a high risk to not finding the next thermal, the next bit of energy. And if you are not careful, you push on, and then suddenly you find yourself in a very difficult situation. Whereas if you stay in the group, generally speaking, somebody will find some lift somewhere and you'll climb up again. But you do waste time in the group.
On the right part of the screen, you have altitude of all of the pilots, and they are quite high now. Yeah. They had a really bad time just above the big forest, and so on the south part of the task. And now they are much more above 1,000 meters. So it's really, I'm smiling behind the microphone because I want them to have a valid day. What we call a valid day is at least one pilot is coming back and making some points. But I think all the pilots, they will come back. And so it will be a really nice race. And
yeah,
that's good.
I think so. I think it's looking good now. It's looking like we've turned. And I think Christophe has pushed on. If you win by flying the way Christophe does, you can be very pleased with yourself. Because he's flown his own race, he's flown very well, and he's not been hanging back. He's decided he's going to get on and push out in front. And I admire that. I think it's a great quality in the pilot that he's not waiting for other people. He's got the confidence to keep going. Of course, he's not home yet.
No.
But so far, he seems to be doing it really well.
Yeah, Christophe, I know him very well because I used to fly here a few years ago, and he's now part of a team when we do Grand Prix. And he's not the kind of pilot who is waiting. We know this. He's always pushing and making his own decision. Okay, there is a part of tactical things, and he's doing the best for this. But also, he doesn't want to wait for the others. And I think, yeah, you're right. It's pretty positive in your head when you think it's smooth. You took a great decision. You do your best, and the other ones, they will help you a bit. But you will make the race, and he's making the race for now.
Zulu Alpha is 200 meters above Christophe. And he's what, 5 kilometers behind?
A bit more.
Didier
7 to 8. Yeah.
Didier is 400 meters above Christophe, and he's only about 8 or 9 kilometers behind.
Yeah,
now that's actually about evens. If we had a total energy with a calculation to show the distance and height together, we might see that there's not much difference, in fact, in the position. Christophe has to find some more energy, and whilst he's doing that, the others will catch him up. He's still gliding. He's not really climbing, but he seems to be going very slowly. He's only flying at, what's his speed there? Ground speed, 130 kilometers an hour. Well, that's really, it's not quick.
No, not quick.
It's not really slow, but he's flying very cautiously, as you would expect with that sort of altitude.
On the right part of the screen, you have the total goal arrival height. So they are missing now 600 meters, around 600 meters to go to the finish line. And yes, the difference between Alain Mazzara and Christophe Abadi, the two pilots, you have more information on the bottom of the screen. It's just, okay, they are quite to the same altitude for now, 800 meters. And you can see that Alain is pushing a bit more with the speed of 170.
Pushing on. Ord's doing really well. She's chosen a completely different route.
So we are losing a bit of information on the leading group, so we will focus a bit on the chaser now. So let's go back to the chaser. And it's Foxterra. Oh, the ID is back. So Foxterra is Dan Sprout. Bravo Whiskey 3 is Mr. Tony Kittler from Germany. So Dan is from Belgium. They are really good guys. They enjoy to be here, and they're always smiling. So I want to thank them because it's a huge job for them to be in the first Grand Prix, and they're really happy to be here. And then it's Charlie Fox Mike 1. So it's Guillaume Girard from France. And then I don't know the others. Oh, Ecolim.
Ecolima and 7-6 Zulu 6 are carrying on.
Finally, they're going to return points. Yeah. So I think they just had a really bad time close to Moray airfield. And so they were thinking, okay, going back, or I still catch up for the next turn points?
Well, it might be that it's just thinned out a little bit, the upper cloud, a little bit of cumulus has appeared, and it's encouraged them to carry on around the turning point.
So back to the leading group now, because we have more data. Yeah. So, sorry, with Christophe Abadi.
There's not much in it, is there? There's only 100 meters in it between Didier right through with Alain.
And Christophe is climbing.
And
indeed.
Lucas is there with them.
So, and Christophe is climbing, and they are Zulu Alpha and Fox Bravo, they are heading to him because they have seen that he's gaining some energy. And the climb is quite good.
Ord will find it difficult now because she's a little bit too far south, I think, to see what they're doing. And for her to go to the north to join that thermal is quite a detour. It's going to cost her probably 1 or 2 kilometers.
Yeah, Ord is very.
She's seen it now and she's turned towards it.
And we will have all the information, but she's quite high. She's at 850.
Yeah, but it's the height loss. She's going to be 50 meters. She's going to lose 50 meters, and 50 meters in this race is a lot.
Yeah, but she's always the highest, and she's climbing really well. She's a really good pilot.
Do you think it's because she's lighter than the other guys?
She's
all the same wing loading.
Yeah, quite the same, and perhaps she knows when she has to drop water, and she's not waiting a lot for that because she knows what you have to be the highest at one time. So she's a really good pilot.
Yeah, and she'll now be in quite a comfortable position. But this is the end of the game. This is the end.
We are really close. Yeah. Very
because
close.
the top of this thermal might just be enough.
Yeah, you can see on the right part of the screen.
To
Yeah,
come home.
yeah, yeah.
And
300 meters. 300
yeah.
meters to go. When I say 300 meters to go, it's not to glide, so to the distance, but it's 300 meters to gain as altitude.
But they could also slow down. We know that this altitude they need is based on the calculation, is based on the flying at about 170, 180 kilometers an hour.
Yes.
So if they fly much slower, they could do it with less altitude.
Yeah, a bit.
If they fly through some energy, they could do it with less altitude.
The good thing when it's weak conditions, it's normally much more easier to find some lines of energy, and you don't have some big area with sink. What we call sink, it's the air mass is dropping you down, and so I think they will make it really in a few minutes for what we call the final glide, so the rush to the finish line.
Do you think that Tango India Foster will join the
Yeah, definitely.
the
But
gaggle before
yeah.
the other leaving?
Yeah, but she's 400 meters below, so she's losing the contact with the leading group, but she's in the leading
But
group.
there's only 3.
Yeah,
That would put her in 4th place, which
6
gives
points.
us some points. Yeah,
and
that's
she will be
really
happy.
valuable.
Definitely.
That's a really valuable day. And it's looking like it's any of the first 3 could be coming home first.
Yeah.
But Alan's 200 meters or more below, and Didier below Christophe. So right now, Christophe's got to be in it. It's his to lose now.
Yeah.
It's his to lose. If he gets a clean run now, then he could really be in it. Didier's not in the same gaggle. He's
No.
well down here, but
Yeah.
he's quite high. I don't think there's much chance of him catching up now. I don't think anybody's going to catch Christophe.
Christophe is leaving the group now.
Right, but second place, we've got Alan, Lucas, and Didier could all be in second place. So now it's looking more like a race for second place. Christophe's got broken away. He's probably got enough height if he can just get a little bit of energy en route.
And what is
So that looks
heading?
complicated, Ben.
Yeah.
They've got to go all around there. Maybe.
He's heading now for the next turn point. Next turn point is exactly on the airfield of Buno. But then they will have to make the turn point, so the red cylinder on the right part of the screen. It is report me. It's just north of the airfield for 7 kilometers. And then another turn point just east of the airfield. This is Vaudoué report. And
Maybe
then
if we
back.
look at that from the top,
Yeah.
then we get some idea of the distance that they've got to fly.
I'll do that for you.
Countryside looks great there. The motorway coming through and the fields around Bruno. Is it Bruno or Bruno? Do you say Bruno?
Buno.
Bruno, just Bruno, okay.
Tu veux que je parle en français?
Peut-être. On peut essayer.
So yes, you have a much more easy view of what I call the small task at the end. It's you say course au pylône in English?
Pylon race.
Pylon race. So this is this kind of pylon race we do at the end of a championship.
Well, it's very exciting. Instead of having a long straight final glide that nobody can see, then you better see what Kai's doing. Kai's trying to contact us, and we think he might just be in a field.
Yes, because when Kai is phoning me, it's just to tell me, oh, sorry, I'm in a field.
Yeah.
So yes, we have confirmation that he's in a
We'll
field.
just check he's down safely.
Yeah, I will call him because I want to have some good news from him. And normally when he's calling, it's okay.
Yeah. And whilst you're waiting for Kai to give us the good news, we're watching Christophe running up to the last turning point now. It's still a little bit short of altitude. Still needs to find a little bit of altitude.
130 meters, so yeah. But you will find it.
I'm sure that somewhere in the next, what he's got to go, he's got about 30 kilometers to go. I'm sure somewhere in there he's going to get the height back. Can we put altitude on
hello.
now and just see how high they actually are?
Yes. Yeah, I know, and we can see you on the. Yeah, I am you.
So it sounds like Kai's in a with the
Okay. Yeah, we are live with you, Kai, and yes, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we are live with you, and we can hear you. Yeah. So Kai Lindenberg is in the field, and he's okay, so no problem for him. So yes, bye Kai. See you in a few minutes. Bye. So yes, it's really fun because Kai, I ask all the pilots to send me a text or to call me as soon as they are in the field, because I want to know if they are safe and if everything is okay, and if they need more team to help them to get out and to put out the Sailplane from the field. So he's a really nice guy, so he called me and everything is okay. So don't worry, all friends of Kai Lenenberg, he will be soon back to Buno for enjoying the day and the ceremony.
He seems to be getting quite a lot of practice at landing in fields.
He told me Kai Lenenberg is one of the first pilots who was coming here a few days ago for training, and but he told me it's really different from my country, my home field, my home airfield, my club. So he wanted to do some training, but yes, he's training.
But he flies in the south of Germany. He flies, I think, in Freiburg.
Yeah.
And it's quite undulating there.
Yes.
And the conditions will be completely different.
Completely.
And here it's not absolutely flat, but by comparison with where Kai flies, it's just flat. And I know that the pilots who fly in mountainous regions or hilly regions, they have a lot of problems because they don't know where to go to find the lift.
We definitely see what we call two types of pilots. When I say two types, it's pilots who were born in the mountains, who learned to fly in the mountains as a glider pilot, and pilots who learned in plain area. And sometimes the pilots from the mountain area, they are pushing a little bit too much and they are flying too low because they think that they will have some good thermals from the ground. But that's not the case, and especially when it's tricky weather like today. So he has pushed a little bit too much, Kai Lenenberg. I'm sorry for that.
So it's looking like if Christoph just gets a little bit more energy, or he slows down a little, he should be able to finish the task. And then we have quite a race for second place.
On the right part of the screen, you have the goal arrival height, and Christoph is missing just 23 meters.
And he can get that back.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Yeah, I think if he cross the next turn point at a bit above 720 or 730 meters above mean sea level, so altitude. And you can see on the right part of the screen, on the bottom, Christopher Buddy with all the information. So altitude is 790, and I think he will be okay.
Christoph is looking good at this point. He's looking really good. Alan will be very pleased, having gone a little sightseeing tour that he made at the first turning point.
But they are missing. I think Alan is missing a bit of energy, so he will have to find something. But he's with Lucas, so they are all together, and they will help a bit. So it's which we know that in Sailplane Grand Prix and Sailplane Championship, we say that it's a bit of a cooperative sport, because even if we are competitors, and so we have to win, we help also each other just to find the best thermals. So it's really nice for that. It's really a family.
It's a little bit like a breakaway group in cycle racing.
Exactly.
You have to help each other to stay in front, but when it comes to the end, you push.
Yes.
So you try to stay in front right till the last half a kilometer, and then you really try to get ahead. Yeah,
it's a cooperation, and then it's what I call a money time. So for the last rush, okay, I want to win. We are together, but I will win. So I will do my best.
The tactics of this are very much like cycle racing.
Yeah, definitely.
Except you don't have to pedal.
Yes, but we are.
So it's not so physical.
We would like to not pedal, but sometimes it would be useful to have some pedals. So yes,
and you have to think a lot.
Yeah, Christopher Buddy, leader, and he's now on the total energy. He has enough energy to make the last rush, final glide, and then Fox Bravo and Zulu Alpha, they are climbing. Yeah, so they stop, and Alain Mazadora and Mr. Lucas Delobel, and they are climbing. They are gaining energy. They need more energy.
If they are really paying attention to what's happening in front, and I'm sure that they will see that there's only one glider in front. And they know that they're now racing for second place.
Yep.
So there's no reason why they should try to push too hard here. As long as they stay together, the trick now is to be the highest one of the two when they leave the thermal.
On the right part of the screen, you have Tiff, Haute Grangeray. She has enough energy to finish, so it will be a really tight finish. And Didier is reaching the group of Zulu Alpha and Fox Bravo, so Alama Zalora and Mr. Lucas Dolabel climbing. So Didier is a bit shy of 100 meters of energy for making the last finish. And Chulima seems to be now really okay with 50 meters bonus energy, so it will be okay. Haute Grangeray is gaining energy because now she just missed 30 meters, 25 meters, so it's good.
But she's got quite a distance. She's 2 or 3 kilometers behind.
You can see Charlie Tango just for a few seconds, but no, he has used the engine. He's just coming back to the airfield of Buno. So Chulima. Just let's focus on Chulima for a few seconds because he will make the next turn point, report point. Mille-la-Forêt. I want to thank you another time, the mayor of Mille-la-Forêt, because he has accepted us to make the opening ceremony in the marketplace of Mille-la-Forêt. It was really, really nice.
That's very good. And it's a beautiful little town.
It is, definitely.
But this is a beautiful part of France, French. In fact, all parts of France are beautiful, but this is really nice area.
Yeah, thank you. I like this area because it's south of Paris. You can think about the fact that we are just 1 hour from Paris by car, train, or anything. But it's
not in the traffic this morning.
No, and sorry for that. Yeah. But we call that bucolique in French.
Yeah.
So bucolique means it's a typical what do you say? The typical part of France where you are close to the big cities, but you feel that you are really far away from the big cities. So it's really comfortable, and the people are really, really nice.
And it's old France, lots of old towns, old villages, and nice
the center
woodlands.
city. Yeah. The center of all these small towns there, it's really beautiful with old buildings. So yeah, really, really nice.
So who's going to be the controller on the field now? Do you have to go and control the field, or is that under control?
I have my brother Benoit is close to be my brother because we work all together a lot of time, and so he knows everything and how to manage this. So thank you, Benoit, for that, because I can keep speaking for this live
the last ones to come home. Yeah. Well, we've certainly had a good race, and it looks like Christophe really took this race around the first turning point. He decided, the second turning point, wasn't it? The eastern turning point.
Yeah, eastern,
He really decided there that he didn't want to play the same game. He didn't want to hang back. He didn't want to take it easy. He wanted to get on. And it's paid off for him. Yeah.
The point was, I think, at one time, just all the pilots were around 500 meters, 600 meters, so quite low. And they were thinking, okay, now perhaps I have to gain some energy. And it was, okay, no, I have to keep going. And then it was one good thermal, and he was on the lead.
Yeah.
And he never lose any time after that. So
and he's not taken his foot off the gas. He's kept his...
I live day after day. I don't want to focus on the next day because I have a lot to do. But I put an eye on the weather forecast, and it was okay. It will be tricky with windows.
Looks like a little bit of thunderstorms.
Yeah, also. So I have to be really careful with that because it's too much energy, thunderstorms, and then it's too less in just a few minutes. So
that can really, really affect your race.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it can make it impossible. If a thunderstorm comes in the wrong place or at the wrong time, it can make it impossible.
Yep.
Partly because it kills the energy away from the storm, partly because there is a genuine risk with the thunderstorm, and it's not safe to fly sometimes when the thunderstorms come too close.
Okay, we are with Christophe Labadie, and he's just on the left of the screen, and he's heading now to Buno Airfield finish line, just in front of you with all the sponsors. And it will be just 3 kilometers left for Christophe. So yeah, 200 meters. We are going a bit more with Christophe now.
And then we'll come back and see who's going to win the fight for second place. Yeah. Because the run for second place could be quite exciting.
So just a few seconds, because I just received a text from Cécile Bonnet. Cécile Bonnet is a really young young girl from Buno. So she's also a local pilot since first Grand Prix. She's just 21 years old, so she's really young. And she just told me, okay, no problem. I'm landed in Vaudoué, So Vaudouet is east on.
Abaday's finished. Ord's with them, and so we've got Ord just a little bit behind. We've got Lucas and Didier and Alain all together. Lucas must be one of the youngest pilots in the competition.
Lucas is he's 23 years old. He's an engineer,
So we've got
22.
one of the youngest with one of the oldest.
Yeah.
Fighting it out. Let's see what
Exactly,
happens
yeah.
now. I don't think Alan's a high-speed merchant, but we'll see. He's probably still competitive enough that he doesn't want to be behind.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think he flies in such a way he's going to really push it on the final glide. He's not going to take his margins down to the limit. He's going to leave something in the tank.
So we have Didier. We have Lucas who is leading, and with Didier, and then there is Zulu Alpha, Mr. Alain Mazalera from Buno. And then there is Steve. You don't see them very well because we are with poor data information for now. But then they will head towards the airfield of Buno. It will be really good. So they are heading to the control point on the east. It's Le Vaudouet. It's a small town also, and we have really good relationship with all the mayors around. And yes, thank you guys. Did is back for data. 430, 440 meters, so it's way good enough. Lucas is a bit lower, so he can't push. You can see the speed on the bottom of the screen with Didier House. So he has more altitude and he can push much more. So he can consume the altitude much more. So he's flying much faster than Lucas Delabel, who has to be a bit conservative on the speed because he wants to get some points. It's really interesting because now you can see that Tiff, so Haute Grangeray,
will overcome Alain.
Perhaps you will overcome Alain.
We'll see if Alan goes right into the turning point.
They are really close, same altitude, so it will be tight.
Yeah.
I have to admit that Haute Grangeray is a lot of. She's always higher than everybody. But she doesn't like to push on the stick so much. So perhaps Alain, I expect that Alain will be just in front of Haute Grangeray. But she's learning also, and she's training for that. And she's a really good pilot, really competitive, and she's world champion. She's world champion basically.
Yeah. In which class?
In standard class, women's standard class.
Right. So she's very competitive, and she won't want Alan to finish in front. But at the moment, it looks like he's just got a little bit ahead.
So Didier, I will focus on Didier. She is passing the finish line now.
So Didier is going to take second place.
Yeah.
That was a surprise because he was quite a way behind.
Yeah, but he catched up with a good thermal just in the back of a race at one time, just after the second turn point of the east.
But Didier is he's sort of a quiet guy, isn't he? He's a quiet guy, but he's very focused. He really wants to win. But he's not one of those guys who looks like he's aggressive or he's forward or he's just quiet and gets on with it and makes good decisions.
I like a lot Didier. Oh, Tiff, Haute Grangeray perhaps is overpassing Zulu Alpha. So
this looks close.
Yeah.
This looks close.
And we can see
Foxier is very high.
Yeah, but he's
taking the turn.
Yeah, for check turn points. So he's not in the final.
So let's go down and look at these two, Ben, from above and see who's going to get across the line first.
I think Tiff will be first. Yeah.
It's going to be tied.
Yeah, it's super great. Well done. Definitely well done. Perhaps she will have some penalties because she's too low. We will see for that. Yeah. But yes.
If they get a little bit carried away at the end.
Foxiera, Dan is now close to the control points.
Well, look, it looks like Alan. You see, he left something in the tank. Yeah. He left some energy to make a finish.
Yeah.
But it looks like Ord just had enough to land straight ahead.
So first Abadi, and then Mr. Didier House.
First Abadi.
Yeah. So 10 points normally. Yeah. We'll see that. Second was Didier House from France also, so 8 points. And then Mr. Lucas Delabel, the young pilot from French team, 7.
Really well.
And we expect Haute Grangeray to have made 4th. So 6 points.
They'll be pleased.
Yeah. I'm really.
And there's still points to be for one yet. We got Charlie.
Sorry for
I'm not sure if these guys are on the way round still or whether they're finishing.
No, I think we have to make the control points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The Fox Sierra seems to be the guy who will be the sixth. So yes, it was really interesting today.
Very good race. Very good race.
With some exciting things like they were low on the second legs, and then and the breakthrough from Abadi taking the lead really early and making the best. Really good. And the finish with the tight of Haute-Grangerie and Adam Azara. This is really interesting.
So tomorrow then we should be. We hope we can get some nice weather. Same sort of time, about 1:30 local time, French time. So you should be able to catch the race tomorrow afternoon, and if we're lucky, we'll get a really good race. And it goes on all week.
Yeah,
racing until Saturday.
Yeah, you can follow the race every day on SGP.aero on YouTube and channel from FAI Sailplane Grand Prix, and also a Facebook page of FAI Sailplane Grand Prix. I'm quite a bit pessimistic for tomorrow about the weather, because it was to be the worst day of the week. But you have to be. I will keep you posted on all the social media about that.
Thanks, Benj. And we look forward to some more exciting racing later in the week.
It will be, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, see you tomorrow.
Thank you, all video team. Thank you, Angel, for your help. And thank you, Brian, for the commentary. And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.